The Nadiv. Yes, of course. He seemed distracted. He made us wait for almost 2 hours, and he was flushed and inattentive when he finally appeared. No, I've never seen him like that before. He's arrogant like the rest of them, but his manners are usually flawless. Even that damn braid of his was less than perfect. I rather got the impression he'd come straight from his bed. Yes, I think so. I think the Carib had been entertaining him. No, I never saw him, as it turned out. Well, I was there with a security officer and the doctor. Venn, you must have heard of him. He was the senior medic on the Vengeance. Yes, that's him. He's been working with the natives longer than any of us. There were 2 humans there from Saameron's team, the Secret Service agent Johnson. Yes. And another human who turned out to be their translator. Yes, quaint, isn't it? Tanaka. That's a Japanese name, apparently. Venn went at once to examine Saameron. He knew him from the Vengeance, and... Yes, the same doctor who fixed his spine. He was damaged when his lander crashed, when the Vengeance exploded. Yes, the British kept him for a while, but they weren't able to fix him. Couldn't find a use for him, so there was an exchange. Venn spoke as if the pair of them were old friends. The doctor arranged it beforehand with Keris's assistant. Saameron was given a sedative. Tor, Lord Theodore. He's a recent addition. Trained medic. When he was told the examination might cause some discomfort, he agreed quite readily. Well, of course I had no idea. You've met the man, did you know? Venn has a reputation for excellence in his field. He saved many lives on the Vengeance. His skills are unparalleled. I didn't know anything about the rest of it. No, you're right. Shipside, I would not have cared. He was valuable, and his victims were not. A Carib woman came in, slipped into the office without even knocking, which was already strange, complaining to Theodore that Venn had thrown her out and wouldn't let her observe the examination. I don't know, a nurse, I suppose. Spoke Hannath with a Karagath accent. No one of any importance. Said she had been present at the operations, and there was no good reason to exclude her now. Stubborn little bitch for a Carib. Persistent. But she was right, of course. It was highly suspect. I rather got the impression that of all of us, she saw Venn for what he was, at once, at first glance. Well, she showed better judgment than the rest of us. No, Theodore would not take her seriously. He tried to throw her out, but she resisted. She was compact, shall we say, and she resisted, so it wasn't easy to get her out without hurting her. It was a moment of entertainment in an otherwise frustratingly dull morning. Oh, she pinched him, quite deliberately hurt him. Yes, I was actually impressed. I have often thought their talk of free Carib servants was complete and utter nonsense, a masterpiece of self-delusion. But yes, he tolerated it. Not without a little culture shock. But he made no move to punish her. So perhaps they are serious about the status of that. Well, Theodore finally decided to take her seriously, and excused himself and was walking out of the office to check on her story when we all heard Saameron scream. He was hysterical, shouting in ship speak, bellowing, telling Venn to get out of his fucking head. No, of course not. There was no imaginable reason for him to bond with the Kerip. It made no sense at all. And then there was a sharp cry of pain from Venn himself. Apparently, despite the sedation, Saameron had attacked him. Went for his eyes with a kitchen knife. Yes, it's standard training for the Xonak and Kerip fighters. Yes, if it comes to hand, they're often massively outmatched. Yes, they're trained to slow them down by blinding them. We can hardly complain. We taught him to do it. No, Venn's face was cut, but the man was drugged and his aim was off. Fortunately. Otherwise the doctor might have lost an eye. Theodore dressed his face. While he was busy, Venn made himself comfortable and lied fluently, telling us that this was clearly a result of the appalling abuse Saameron had suffered in Japan, and that he was incoherent, raving, unable to understand that he was being helped. No, not a word of it. Of course I said nothing. He is a respected Nadiv, and his skills are valuable to us. That was when the Japanese human joined in. He knows ship speak, apparently. No, I don't know how. He pointed out the vengeance tattoo on Venn's wrist, expressed his surprise that he had not understood what Saameron was saying. Surely he knew ship speak. Then he calmly told us what the Kerip had said. Get out of my head. Get out of my fucking head. Threatened to kill Venn if he didn't back off, and only then started screaming and attacked him. Well, he was sedated. That must have slowed him down a little. I think Venn was lucky there. Saameron has a reputation for being a skilled fighter. No, of course not. I do not make judgments based on human entertainments. Yes, I have watched the film. If you remember, the hero Saameron dies at the end, so there is a clue there as to how much of it is actually... My opinion is based on my conversations with the men who trained him. If not for the effect of the drugs, he might very well have killed Venn. And then the fat little Kerip woman got between them to stop Saameron killing anyone, and he hit her without meaning to, and stopped to apologize. No. Venn laughed and admitted that his version of the story was a pack of lies. No embarrassment. He was highly amused. No, I agree, it's a useful skill. I'm just not accustomed to... Well, mostly it was the way he spoke. One might almost think he was sitting by a fireside sharing a glass and a good story with friends. Quite the raconteur. His first sentence was, "Of course what you really want to know is, did I fuck him?" He explained he had formed an attachment of sorts on the vengeance. He repaired Saameron's broken face, saved his life. Then asked for payment. No, apparently he likes to form the bond during sex, preferably less than willing sex. He trawls through their memories and replays the more traumatic ones. It gives him pleasure, and of course it tortures them. No, Saameron is significantly recovered, but his condition... No, he would probably bleed to death. Oh yes, he had every intention. That was why he asked the assistant Nazar to arrange a sedative. But first the Kerep woman made a fuss, and he knew his time was limited. Then Saameron fought back. Why did she? The assistant. As far as I can tell, she has an emotional attachment to Karis. Used to be his personal body slave, and is not happy with her loss of status. Knew perfectly well what might happen. Resented his new lover, and agreed to the sedative because she hoped he would be raped and bleed to death. Made no attempt to deny it. Well, I had to do something in the time I was kept waiting, so I placed a transmitter in his office. I heard Saameron confront her the following day. No, they found it 2 days later. Sloppy of them, they're usually quicker than that. My opinion? I think he's insane. Venn, he's completely... No, I don't care if he raped some worthless body slave who came aboard the Vengeance with paint still on his face. Of course not. I really don't care if he amused himself by torturing him with his worst memories. I don't care at all about the Kerep. I do care that Venn is using the bond to torture for sexual gratification, because it speaks to an unbalanced mind. We may have to do something about him. He provoked Karis to such a degree that I feared for our safety. Karis went personally to Osaka to retrieve Saameron. He has gone to remarkable lengths to fix him. Possibly because he once belonged to Karis's sister. Technically, I suppose, his property, his responsibility. Venn rambled on quite blithely, shared his favourite trauma memory. Saameron attacking armed fighters during a raid, trying to protect his owner as she was raped and killed. His complete mental breakdown when it happened. Venn was highly entertained by that. Of mild interest, except that the woman was Karis's sister, and Venn knew that. I think we were very lucky that Karis didn't kill him with his bare hands. No, he went out of his way to offend. No, perhaps not. I think he just vomited out what was in his head and really didn't care. We saw plenty of evidence that Karis and Saameron were... Venn told me later that the boy is wearing a prestige marker. It's an earring, used by the most senior Hannath in any group. Marks any slave who wears one as untouchable. I'm sure that's true. It's for the boy's protection while he is there. It's quite possible he's become fond of him. Then Venn launched into a speech about how trained slaves who are liberated want nothing but an owner, someone to protect them and make their decisions for them. Commented cheerfully on something he had learned while he was inside Saameron's head. That Karis looked very much like his sister. That Saameron might desire him, but he had loved her. And then he commiserated, pointing out that he would never be able to fuck him. No, I was dumbstruck. I was still wondering if Venn was about to be murdered by the Hannath consul, when we were abruptly escorted outside. No, I don't know. I will be very surprised if our next request to parley is granted. From what I heard of the interaction the following day, no, he slept the rest of the day, because of the sedative, I imagine. SAAM and the assistant, a Nadiv half-breed called Nazar. I don't know, she must have been on the Samsa. She admitted to his face that she had hoped that Saameron would die, that Venn would rape him and he would bleed to death. No, surprisingly, no. He spent some time explaining to her, making her understand what Venn is, what he does to his victims, what she had exposed him to. I think it must have. She completely lost her self-control and tried to attack Keris. I imagine she was fond of him and he just lost interest. Jealousy. No, from the sound of it, Saameron intervened, reminded her that it would all be over if she laid a hand on him. Well, there was a lot of screaming and crying, nothing of any use to us. Well, they have done their best to repair him. Made an impressive effort to fix one badly broken cherub. The bottom line. He's not fully recovered, but they have saved his life, for reasons unclear. And Venn is a dangerous liability who may be insane. We will have to discuss the way forward on that. Artem. What has Artem got to do with this? Do not call him that. I birthed him. It doesn't make him my son. I haven't spoken to him since this thing started. No, he's hardly a dependable source of information. It makes me sick to say it, but he's blinded by his feelings for him. No, I don't understand it. I don't see it. I know humans find him beautiful, I believe, but really, he's not even fully cherub. I can't begin to imagine what combination of... And he's broken. But he was able to scramble Artem's brains, what little he had, and now he seems to have moved on to Keris. While I might like to see him dead for the first, the second may prove to be useful to us. If it's true, Keris now has a weakness. That may help us sometime in the future. Fine. Tomorrow. Yes, a full report, of course. Nazar, the assistant. What became of her? Oh, I've no idea. It hardly matters, does it?